Hi, I'm Nicole Saven, and this is Book 1 of the Iliad, as translated by Ian Johnston. Sing, goddess. Sing the rage of Achilles, son of Peleus, that murderous anger which condemned Achaeans to countless agonies, and threw many warrior souls deep into Hades, leaving their dead bodies carrion food for dogs and birds, all in fulfillment of the will of Zeus. Start at the point where Agamemnon, son of Atreus, that king of men, quarreled with noble Achilles. Which of the gods incited these two men to fight? That god was Apollo, son of Zeus and Leto. Angry with Agamemnon, he cast plague down onto the troops, a deadly, infectious evil. For Agamemnon had dishonored the god's priest, Chryses, who'd come to the ships to find his daughter Chryseis, bringing with him a huge ransom. In his hand he held upon a golden staff, the scarf sacred to archer god Apollo. He begged Achaeans above all to the army's leaders. Menelaus, Agamemnon, sons of Atreus, all you well-armed Achaeans, may the gods of Olympus grant you wipe out Priam's city, and then return home safe and sound. Release my dear child to me, take this ransom, honor Apollo, far-shooting son of Zeus. All the Achaeans roared out their support. Respect the priest, take the generous ransom. Displeased, Agamemnon dismissed Chryses roughly. Old man, don't let me catch you by our hollow ships, sneaking back here today or later on. Who cares about Apollo's scarf and staff? I'll not release the girl to you. No, not before she's grown old with me in Argos, far from home, working the loom, sharing my bed. Go away. If you want to get home safely, don't anger me. The old man, afraid, obeyed and walked off in silence, along the shore by the tumbling, crashing surf. Some distance off he prayed to Lord Apollo, Leto's fair-haired child. God with the silver bow, protector of Chryse, sacred Scylla, mighty lord of Tenedos, Sminthean Apollo, hear my prayer. If I've ever pleased you with a holy shrine or burned bones for you, bulls and goats well wrapped in fat, grant me my prayer. Force the Danaans to pay full price for my tears with your arrows. So Chryses prayed. Phoebus Apollo heard him. He came down from Olympus' top enraged, carrying on his shoulder bow and covered quiver, his arrows rattling in anger against his arm. So the god swooped down, descending like the night. He sat some distance from the ships, shot off an arrow, the silver bow reverberating ominously. First the god massacred mules and swift-running dogs, then loosed sharp arrows in among the troops themselves. Thick fires burned the corpses ceaselessly. For 9 days Apollo rained death upon the troops. On the 10th, Achilles summoned an assembly. White-armed Hera put that thought into his mind, concerned for the Danaans seeing them die. The men gathered. The meeting came to order. Swift-footed Achilles rose to speak. Son of Atreus, I fear we're being beaten back, forced home. If we aren't all going to be destroyed right here, with war and plague killing off Achaeans, come now. Let's ask some prophet priest, interpreter of dreams, for dreams too come from Zeus, a man who might say why Apollo is angry, whether he faults our prayers and offerings, whether somehow he'll welcome sacrificial smoke from perfect lambs and goats, then rouse himself and release us from this plague. Achilles spoke and took his seat. Then Calchas, Thestor's son, stood up before them all, the most astute interpreter of birds who understood present, future, past. His skill in prophecy, Apollo's gift, had led Achaeans' ships to Troy. He addressed the troops, thinking of their common good. Achilles, friend of Zeus, you ask me to explain Apollo's anger, the god who shoots from far, and I will speak. But first you listen to me. Swear an oath that you will freely help me in word and deed. I think I may provoke someone who wields great power over Argives, a man who is obeyed by everyone. An angry king overpowers lesser men. Even if that day his anger is suppressed, resentment lingers in his chest until one day he acts on it. So speak. Will you protect me? In response to Calchas, swift-footed Achilles said, Take courage. State what your powers tell you. By Apollo, whom Zeus loves, to whom you, Calchas, pray in prophecy to the Danaans, I swear this, which I live to look upon the light of day. While I live to look upon the light of day, no Achaean will raise violent hands against you. No, not even if you name Agamemnon, who claims he's by far the best Achaean. Encouraged, the wise prophet then declared, Apollo does not fault us for prayers or offerings, but for his priest disgraced by Agamemnon, who did not free his daughter and take ransom. That's why the archer god has brought disaster and will bring more. He will not remove this wretched plague from the Danaans until we hand back bright-eyed Chryseis. Give her to her beloved father freely, without ransom, and offer holy sacrifice, as at Chryses. If we will carry out all that, we may change Apollo's mind. appease him. So he spoke and sat back down. Then Atreus' son, wide-ruling, mighty Agamemnon stood up before them, incensed, his spirit filled with immense black rage, eyes blazing fire. He rounded first on Calchas. Prophet of evil, when have you ever said good things to me? You love to predict the worst, always the worst. You never show good news. Now, in prophecy to the Danaans, you say Archer Apollo brings us pain because I was unwilling to accept fine ransom for Chryseis' daughter Chryseis. But I have a great desire to take her home. In fact, I want her more than Clytemnestra, the wife I married. Chryseis is just as good in her shape, physique, intelligence, or work. Still, I'm prepared to give her back if that's best. I want the people safe, not all killed off. But then you will owe me another prize. I won't be the only Argive left without a gift. That would be entirely unfair to me. You all can see my spoils are going elsewhere. At that point, swift-footed Achilles answered the king. Noble son of Atreus, most acquisitive of men, how can brave Achaeans give you a prize now? There are none left for us to pass around. We've divided up what we allotted. Loot from captured towns we devastated. For men to make a common pile again would be most unfair. Send the girl back now, as the god demands. Should Zeus ever grant we pillage Troy, a city rich in goods, we'll offer you 3 or 4 times as much. Mighty Agamemnon then said in reply, Achilles, you're a fine man, like a god. But don't conceal what's hidden in your heart. You'll not deceive me or win me with your words. You intend to keep your prizes for yourself, while the army takes my trophy from me. That's why you tell me to give Chryseis back. Let Achaeans give me another prize, equal in value, something I'll enjoy. If not, then I'll take a prize myself by force. Something from you, or Ajax, or Odysseus. The man I visit is going to be enraged, but let's postpone discussion of all this. Let's drag a black ship to the sacred sea, select a crew, load oxen on for a sacrifice, and Chryseis, that fair-complexioned girl. Let's have as leader some wise counselor, Idomeneus, Ajax, godlike Odysseus, or you, Peleus' son, most eminent of all, so with an offering we may appease the god who shoots from far away. Scowling grimly, swift-footed Achilles interposed. You insatiable creature, quite shameless. How can any Achaean obey you willingly, join a raiding party, or keep fighting with full force against an enemy? I did not come to battle over here because of Trojans. I have no fight with them. They never stole my bulls or horses or destroyed my crops in fertile Phthia, where heroes grow. Many shady mountains and the roaring sea stand between us there. But you, great shameless man, we came with you, to please you, to win honor from the Trojans. For you, Dogface, and for Menelaus, you don't consider this, don't think at all. You threaten now to confiscate the prize I worked so hard for. Gift from Achaea's sons. When we Achaeans loot some well-built Trojan town, my prizes never match the ones you get. The major share of war's fury rests on me. But when we hand around the battle spoils, you get much larger trophies. Worn out in war, I reach my ships with something fine, but small. So I'll return home now to Phthia. It's far better to sail back in my curved ships. I don't fancy staying here unvalued, to pile up riches, treasures, just for you. To that Agamemnon, king of men, shot back. Fly off home then, if that's your heart's desire. I'll not beg you to stand my account. I have others around to honor me, especially all-wise Zeus himself. Of all the kings Zeus cherishes, it's you I hate the most. You love constant strife, war, and combat. So what if you're strong? Some god gave you that. So scurry off home. Take ships and friends. Go rule your Myrmidons. I don't like you or care about your rage, but I'll make this threat. I'll take your prize, fair-cheeked Perseus. I'll fetch her in person. You'll see just how much I'm the better man. And others will hate to speak to me as peers in public, claiming full equality with me. As Agamemnon spoke, Peleus' son Achilles was overwhelmed with anguish, heart torn 2 ways, debating in his shaggy chest what he should do. Should he draw out the sharp sword on his thigh, incite the crowd, kill Atreus' son, or suppress his rage, control his fury? As he argued in his mind and heart, he slid his huge sword partway from its sheath. At that moment, Athena came down from heaven. White-armed Hera sent her. She cherished both men, cared for them equally. Athena stood between Achilles, grabbed him by his golden hair, invisible to all except Achilles. In astonishment, he turned. At once, he recognized Pallas Athena, the dreadful glitter in her eyes. Achilles spoke. His words had wings. Child of Aegis-bearing Zeus, Why have you come now? Do you wish to see how overbearing Agamemnon is? I'll tell you where all this is going to lead. That arrogance will soon cost him his life. Glittery-eyed Athena then spoke in reply. I come down from heaven to curb your passion. If you obey, white-armed Hera sent me. She loves you both alike, cares equally. Give up this quarrel. Don't draw your sword. Fight him with words, so he becomes disgraced. For I say to you, and this will happen, because of Agamemnon's arrogance, someday gifts 3 times greater than this girl will be set down before you. Control yourself. Obey. Swift-footed Achilles answered Athena, Goddess, men should follow your instructions, though angry in their hearts. It's better so. The person who's obedient to the gods attend to all the more. Obeying Athena's words, Achilles relaxed his huge fist on the silver hilt and pushed the massive sword back into its scabbard. Athena then returned to heaven, home of Zeus, who bears the aegis and the other gods. Achilles turned again on Agamemnon, Atreus' son, with harsh abuse, his anger still unabated. You drunken, sot, dog-eyed, dear, timid coward. You're never strong enough within yourself to arm for war alongside other comrades, or venture with Achaea's bravest on a raid. To you, that smells too much like death. No, you'd much prefer to stroll around throughout the wide Achaean army to grab gifts from a man who speaks against you. A king who gorges on his own people. You lord it over worthless men. If not, son of Atreus, this would be your last offense. I'll tell you. Swear a great oath on this point. By this scepter, which will never sprout leaves and shoots again since first ripped away from its mountain stump, nor bloom any more now that the bronze has sliced off leaf and bark. This scepter Achaea's sons take in hand whenever they do justice in Zeus's name. An oath on this has power. On this I swear. The time will come when Achaea's sons all miss Achilles. A time when in distress you'll lack my help. A time when Hector, that man-killer, destroys many warriors. Then grief will tear your hearts apart, because you shamed Achaea's finest man. So the son of Peleus spoke, throwing to the ground the scepter with the golden studs. Then he sat down directly facing furious Agamemnon. Then Nestor stood up, clear, sweet orator from Pylos. Sweeter than honey the words flowed from his tongue. In his own lifetime, 2 generations of mortal men had come and passed away, all those born and raised with him so long ago in sacred Pylos. Now he ruled a 3rd generation of his people. Concerned about their common good, he said, Alas, this is great sorrow for Achaeans. Priam and Priam's children will be glad. The hearts of other Trojans will swell with joy, should they find out about such quarreling. A fight between you 2 among Danaans, the very best for counsel or combat. But listen! You are both younger men than I, and I've been colleague of better men than you. Men who never showed me any disrespect, men whose like I have not seen again and never will, like Peirithous, Dryas, a shepherd to his people, Caneus, Exodios, godlike Polyphemus, Theseus, son of Aegeus, all godlike men, the mightiest earthborn men, the strongest, and the enemies they fought against were strong, the most powerful of mountain centaurs, but they destroyed those creatures totally. Associate of theirs, I came from Pylos, a long way from that land, summoned personally. I fought on my own behalf by myself. No man alive on earth could fight them now. Could now fight them. Yet they heard me and followed my advice. So listen, both of you. That's what's best now. Agamemnon, you're an excellent man, but do not take Perseus from Achilles. Let that pass. Achaea's sons gave her to him first, and you, Peleus' son, don't seek to fight the king, not as your enemy, the scepter-bearing king, whose powerful authority comes from Zeus, never shares honors equally, Achilles. You may be stronger, since your mother was divine, but he's more powerful, for he rules more men. But you, son of Atreus, check your anger. Set aside, I urge you, your rage against Achilles, who provides, in the middle of war's evils, a powerful defense for all Achaeans. Mighty Agamemnon then replied to Nestor, Old man, everything you say is true enough. But this man wants to put the rest to shame, rule all of us, lord it over everyone, but some, I think, will not obey him. So what if the gods who live forever made him a spearman? Is that some reason we should let him say such shameful things? Achilles, interrupting Agamemnon, shouted, I'd be called a coward, a nobody, if I held back from any action because of something you might say. Order other men about. Don't tell me what I should do. I'll not obey you anymore, but I will tell you this. Remember it well. I'll not raise my hand to fight about that girl. No, not against you or any other man. You Achaeans gave her to me, and now you seize her back again. But you'll not take another thing from my swift black ship. You'll get nothing else with my consent. If you'd like to see what happens, just try. My spear will quickly drip with your dark blood." Thus the pair of them continued arguing. Then they stood up, dissolving the assembly by the ships. Peleus' son went back to his well-bound ship and huts, along with Patroclus, Menoetius' son, and friends. Agamemnon dragged a swift ship down to the shore, chose 20 sailors, loaded on the oxen, offerings for the gods, and led on fair-cheeked Chryseis. Shrewd Odysseus shipped on as leader. All aboard they set off, carving a pathway through the sea. Atreus' son ordered troops to cleanse themselves. The men bathed in the sea, washed off impurities. Then they made sacrificial offerings to Apollo. Hundreds of perfect bulls and goats beside the restless sea. Savory smells curled up and amid the smoke high into heaven. The men thus occupied, Agamemnon did not forget the challenge he had made earlier to Achilles. He called its heads Talthybius and Eurybates. "Go to Achilles' tent, Peleus' son. Take fair Perseus by the hand. Bring her to me. If he won't surrender her, I'll come myself in force and take her. For him that will be a worse disaster." With these firm orders he dismissed the men who moved off, heavy-hearted, along the shore of the restless sea. They reached the huts and ships of the Myrmidons. There they found Achilles seated by his hut and his black ship. As he saw them approach, Achilles felt no joy. The two heralds, afraid, just stood in silence out of deference to the king. In his heart Achilles sensed their purpose. He called them. "Cheer up, heralds, messengers for gods and men, come here. I don't blame you, but Agamemnon. He sends you both here for the girl Briseis. Come, Patroclus, born from Zeus, fetch the girl. Give her to these two to take away. Let them both witness before blessed gods, mortal men, and that unfeeling king. If ever there's a need for me again to defend others from a shameful death, that man's wits are foolish, disastrously so. He's not thinking about past or future, how Achaeans might fight safely by their ships." Patroclus did as his dear comrade had requested. He led out fair-cheeked Perseus from the hut and gave her up to be led off. The heralds left, returning to Achaean ships, Perseus with them, but against her will. Achilles then in tears withdrew from his companions, sat by the shore, staring at the wide grey sea. Stretching out his hands, he cried aloud, praying repeatedly to Thetis, his beloved mother. "Mother, since you gave me life, if only for a while, Olympian Zeus, high thunderer, should give me due honor. But he does not grant me even slight respect. For wide-ruling Agamemnon, Atreus' son, has shamed me, has given away my prize, appropriated it for his own use." As he said this, he wept. His noble mother heard him from deep within the sea where she sat by her old father. Quickly she rose up, moving above grey waters like an ocean mist, and settled down before him as he wept. She stroked him, then said, "My child, why these tears? What sorrows weigh down your heart? Tell me so we'll both know. Don't hide from me what's on your mind." With a deep groan, swift-footed Achilles then replied, "You know. Why should I tell you what you know? We came to Thebe, Eetion's sacred city, sacked it, taking everything the city had. Achaea's son apportioned it all fairly amongst themselves. Agamemnon's share was fair-skinned Chryseis. Then Chryses arrived. At the swift ship of bronze-armed Achaeans, archer god Apollo's priest sought out his daughter. He brought with him an enormous ransom, carried in his hands the sacred golden staff with the shawl of archer god Apollo. He begged Achaeans, above all Atreus' sons, the people's leaders. All Achaeans called on them to respect the priest, accept the splendid ransom, but that didn't please Agamemnon in his heart. He sent him roughly off with harsh abusive orders. The old man went away again, enraged. He prayed to Apollo, who loved him well. The god heard him and sent his deadly arrows against the Argives. The troops kept dying one by one as the god rained down arrows down throughout the wide Achaean army. The prophet Calchas, understanding all, told us Apollo's will. At once I was the first to recommend. We all appeased the god, but anger got control of Agamemnon. He stood up on the spot and made that threat which he's just carried out. So quick-eyed Achaeans are sending Chryseis in fast ships back to Chryses, transporting gifts for Lord Apollo. And heralds came to take Briseis from my huts, the girl who is my gift from Achaea's son. So now, if you can, protect your son. Go to Mount Olympus and implore Zeus If ever you, in word or deed, have pleased him, for often I have heard you boast in Father's house that you alone of all the deathless gods saved Zeus of the dark clouds from disgraceful ruin, when other Olympians came to tie him up, Hera, Pallas Athena, and Poseidon, but you, goddess, came and set him free by quickly calling him up to high Olympus, that 100-handed monster called Briareos, and men all name Aegeon, a creature whose strength was greater than his father's. He sat down beside the son of Cronos, exulting in his glory. The sacred gods, afraid, stopped tying up Zeus. So sit down right by Zeus, clasp his knee. Remind him of all that, so he'll want to help the Trojans somehow. Corner Achaeans by the sea, by their ships' prows, have them destroyed so they all enjoy their king. So the son of Atreus, wide-ruling Agamemnon himself, may see his foolishness, dishonoring Achilles, the best of the Achaeans. Thetis, shredding tears, answered her son Achilles. "Oh, my child, why did I nurture you since I brought you up to so much pain? Would you were safely by your ships, dry-eyed. Your life is fated to be short. You'll not live long. Now faced with a quick doom, you're in distress more so than any other man. At home I gave you life marked by an evil fate. But I'll tell these things to thunder-loving Zeus. I'll go myself to snow-topped Mount Olympus to see if he will undertake all this. Meanwhile, you should sit by your swift ships, angry at Achaeans. Take no part in war, for yesterday Zeus went to Oceanus to banquet with the worthy Ethiopians. The gods all journeyed with him. In 12 days, when he returns home and comes home to Olympus, I'll go to Zeus's bronze-floored house, clasp his knee. I think I'll get him to consent." Thetis spoke. Then she went away, leaving Achilles there, angry at heart for lovely girdled Briseis, taken from him by force against his will. Odysseus sailed to Chryses, bringing with him the sacrificial animals as sacred offerings. When they had sailed into deep anchorage, they took in the sails and stowed them in the ship. With 4 stays they soon set the mast down its notch. They rowed the ship into its mooring place. They threw out anchor stones, lashed stern cables, and clambered out into the ocean surf. They brought off the offerings to archer god Apollo. Then Chryseis disembarked from the ocean ship. Resourceful Odysseus led her to the altar, placed her in her beloved father's hands, and said, "Chryseis, I have been sent by Agamemnon, ruler of men, to bring your daughter to you, and then, on behalf of the Danaans, to make an offering to Lord Apollo. All these sacrificial beasts, to placate the god which now inflicts such dismal evil on us." After saying this, he handed the girl over. Chryseis gave his daughter a joyful welcome back, and then around the well-built altar they arranged the splendid sacrifice. They washed their hands and picked up the barley grain for sprinkling. Raising his arms, Chryseis prayed out loud on their behalf. "Hear me, god of the silver bow, protector of Chryses, mighty lord of holy Scylla, sacred Tenedos, you heard me earlier, when I prayed to you just as you honored me, striking hard against the Achaeans then, so now grant me what I pray for. Remove disaster, this wretched evil from the Danaans." So Chryseis spoke. Phoebus Apollo heard him. Once they had prayed and scattered barley grain, they pulled back the heads of sacrificial beasts, slit their throats, flayed them, sliced the thigh bones out, and hid them in twin layers of fat with raw meat on top. Old Chryseis burned them on split wood, poured wine on them. Young men beside him held out 5-pronged forks. Once the thighs were well burned, they sampled entrails, then sliced up all the rest, skewered the meat on spits, roasted it carefully, and drew off every piece. That work complete, they then prepared a meal and ate. No heart was left unsatisfied. All feasted equally. And when the boys had had their fill of food and drink, young boys filled the mixing bowl with wine up to the brim, and served it, pouring libation into every cup. Then all day long young Achaean lads played music, singing to the gods a lovely hymn of praise, honoring in dance and song the god who shoots from far. Hearing them, Apollo felt joy in his heart. At sunset, as dusk came on, by the ship's stern, they went to sleep. But when early-born rose-fingered dawn appeared, they set off, once more back to the wide Achaean camp. Far-shooting Apollo sent them favorable winds. They raised the mast, and then the sails. The wind blew, filling out the body of the sail on both sides of the prow. The purple waves hissed loudly as the ship sped on its way, its motion carving a path through the ocean's swell. When they reached the broad Achaean army, they hauled the black ship high up on the sand, pushed long props tight beneath it, then dispersed, each man returning to his own huts and ships. Meanwhile, Achilles, divinely born son of Peleus, sat down in anger alongside his swift ships. Not once did he attend assembly where men win glory or go out to fight, but he pined away at heart, remaining idle by his ships, yearning for the hue and cry and clash of battle. 12 days later, the company of gods came back, together to Olympus with Zeus in the lead. Thetis did not forget the promise to her son. She rose up through the ocean waves at daybreak, then moved high up to great Olympus. She found Zeus, wide-seeing son of Cronus, some distance from the rest, seated on the highest peak of many rigid Olympus. She sat down right in front of him. With her left hand she clutched his knee, with her right she cupped his chin, in supplication to Lord Zeus, son of Cronos. Father Zeus, if among the deathless gods, if I've ever served you well in word or deed, then grant my prayer will be fulfilled. Bring honor to my son, who of all men will be fate's quickest victim. For just now Agamemnon, king of men, has shamed him. He seized his prize, robbing him in person, and kept it for himself. But honor him, Zeus, all-wise Olympian. Give the Trojans the upper hand until Achaeans respect my son, until they multiply his honors. Thetis finished. Cloud-gatherer Zeus did not respond. He sat a long time silent. Thetis held his knee, clinging close, repeating her request once more. Promise me truly. Nod your head or deny me, since there's nothing here for you to fear, so I'll clearly see how among the gods I enjoy the least respect of all. Cloud-gatherer Zeus, greatly troubled, said, A nasty business. What you will say will set Hera against me. She provokes me so with her abuse. Even now, in the assembly of immortal gods, she's always insulting me, accusing me of favoring the Trojans in the war. But go away for now in case Hera catches on. I'll take care of this. Make sure it comes to pass. Come to convince you. I'll nod my head. Among gods, that's the strongest pledge I can make. Once I nod my assent, nothing I say can be revoked, denied, or unfulfilled. Zeus, son of Cronos, nodded his dark brows. The divine hair on the king of gods fell forward, down over his immortal head, shaking Olympus to its very base. The conference over, the two parted. Thetis plunged from bright Olympus back into the sea. Zeus went inside his house. Their father present, all the gods at once stood up from their seats. No one dared stay put as he came in. All rose together. Zeus seated himself upon his throne. Looking at him, Hera sensed he had made some deal with Thetis, silver-footed daughter of the old man of the sea. At once she spoke up accusingly. Which god has been scheming with you, you crafty one? You always love to work on things in secret, without involving me. You never want to tell me openly what you intend. The father of gods and men replied, Hera, don't hope to understand my every plan. Even for my own wife, that's dangerous. What's appropriate for you to hear about, no one, god or man, will know before you. But when I wish to hide my thoughts from gods, don't you go digging after them, or pestering me for every detail. Ox-eyed Queen Hera then replied to Zeus, Most dread son of Cronus, what are you saying? I have not been overzealous before now in questioning you or seeking answers. Surely you're quite at liberty to plan anything you wish. But now in my mind I've got this dreadful fear that Thetis, silver-footed daughter of the old man of the sea, has won you over. For this morning early she sat down beside you, held your knees. I think you surely nodded your agreement to honor Achilles killing many soldiers, slaughtering them by the Achaean ships. Zeus the Cloud-gatherer spoke out in response. My dear lady, you're always fancying things. Your attention picks up every detail. But you can't do anything about it except push yourself still further from my heart, making matters so much worse for you. If things are as they are, then that's the way. I want them. So sit down quietly, do as I say. If not, then all the gods here on Olympus won't be any help. When I reach out to set my hands on you, for they're invincible. Zeus finished speaking. Ox-eyed Queen Hera was afraid, so she sat down, silently suppressing what her heart desired. In Zeus's home, the Olympian gods began to quarrel. Then that fearsome artisan, Hephaestus, concerned about his mother, white-armed Hera, spoke to them. A troublesome matter this will prove. Unendurable if you two start fighting over mortal men like this, inciting gods to quarrel. If we start bickering, we can't enjoy the meal, our excellent banquet. So I'm urging Mother, though she's more than willing to humor Zeus, our dear father, so he won't get angry once again, disturb the feast for us. For if Zeus, the Olympian lord of lightning, was of a mind to hurl us from our seats, his strength's too great. But if you talk to him with soothing words, at once Olympian Zeus will treat us well." Hephaestus spoke, then stood up, passed a double goblet across to his dear mother, saying to her, "Stay calm, mother, even though you are upset. If not, then, as beloved as you are, I may see you beaten up before my eyes, with me incapable of helping out. Though the sight would make me most unhappy, it's hard to take a stand opposing Zeus. Once, when I was eager to assist you, Zeus seized me by the feet and threw me out down from heaven's heights. The entire day I fell, and then right at sunset, dropped on Lemnos, almost dead. After that fall, men of Sintis helped me to recover." As he spoke, the white-armed goddess Hera smiled. She reached for her son's goblet. He poured the drink, going from right to left for all the other gods, drawing off sweet nectar from the mixing bowl. Then their laughter broke out irrepressibly, as the sacred gods saw Hephaestus being bustling around, concerned about the feast. All that day they dined until sunset. No one's heart went unsatisfied. All feasted equally. They heard exquisite music, from Apollo's lyre, and the Muses' beautiful song and countersong. When the sun's bright light had set, the gods all went to their own homes. Hephaestus, the famous lame god with his resourceful skill, had made each god a place to live. Olympian Zeus, god of lightning, went home to his own bed, where he usually reclined whenever sweet sleep came over him. He went inside and lay down there, with Hera of the golden throne stretched out beside him. Tune in tomorrow for Book 2.